Hello, welcome to the second video for the Make Money from Coding and AI Coding Session series. I am Patrick Farrell and I help you make more money from coding, and that's literally what the domain is, makemoneyfromcoding.com. So check that out. And I'm excited to do this second video. The first video walked you through a little bit of the software, but I want to start to walk you through how I've actually built the software, because ultimately this is going to be a platform for you to create software and then upload the software that you have created to the platform so that you can actually start to make money from it. And that's what these videos are going to be all about. It makes it easier for me just to do live streams and walk you through, and I'm going to be excited actually. I think I'm just going to start to code with you guys live. But this second video is just kind of show you what is required to actually build Make Money from Coding, what I have built here and how it's actually built, and what you can do to get started. I understand that some of you may be just starting and some of you may be more advanced. I will do my best to go step by step, but please, in the comments below, if I go too far and you don't understand something, feel free to put a comment below and ask me questions, and on a future video I will be helping you actually walk through those questions and answering those questions for you. And hopefully, as we create a bigger community here, I'll be able to interact with you live, and that's really what these videos are going to be about too. I haven't figured out how to see the chat while I'm actually, well, maybe I can. So I'm still working on that, but we'll see if we can start to interact with you while we're live too. So welcome again, and let me get over to, hang on one second, we're gonna take the chat away. All right, so Make Money from Coding. This is the front end, obviously, of the website. You can log in, you can do all this stuff, but what does it take to build something like this? It takes a lot of time and energy in something called the terminal. And I spend a lot of time here. If you guys can see this terminal, there is a folder here called Make Money from Coding, and I can do whole videos talking about the terminal if that's interesting for you. But there's a few main commands that I would learn, which is one is PWD. This is what project folder am I actually in? And what you're probably more familiar with when you are starting out with using computers, obviously, is you're very familiar with the browser window, which, give me a second, I'm gonna bring this same project folder over and we're gonna go here. So you can see that I have a project folder, then I have Vercel, and then I have Make Money from Coding, and then I have a bunch of files in here. This is all the code and the project files and everything like that to run Make Money from Coding. This is all local to my machine, and if I type PWD, this folder here is the exact folder you see here. Now, if I type LS, you can see the same information here as I have over here. So just kind of an introduction to how this is all working. If you guys are developers, you can skip past this part of the video just to kind of show the introductions. Now, what we want to do is start to understand how this is built. And this part of the video, I'm going to tell you, okay, well, we have what technology is actually running Make Money from Coding. Well, I'm using a software called Vercel. And Vercel is a layer on top of probably like AWS is what they're using, I think, on the back end. And Vercel makes it super easy to deploy new software. You can literally go to this button, you can click on New Project, and they give you all of these little clone templates that you can use. And what I'm going to do is show you actually how I started to build this. So I went to here, I scrolled down, and I used this, let's see where it is, starter kit. Let's see, it's probably, if I go over here, SAS, I scroll down, and somewhere here there's a SAS starter kit. Let's see. Whoop. I don't know what happened there. Hang on. So somewhere here, there's a SAS starter kit, and I'm trying to find it. of course, when I start to make videos, I can't find platform starter kit. This one would potentially work. There, I think it's SaaS starter. Ooh, this is actually nice. Auth0. So if I started again, I actually might use this one because I don't currently have Make Money from Coding connected to Auth0. And Auth0 is a platform where you can like log in with Google or GitHub or Facebook, those type of things. So you can click on one of these templates, and I would maybe start here. Maybe I'll actually do a video where I build this from scratch and see what we can do. So what I did is I went to here, I started with one of these templates, and then that allowed me to deploy that in the environment on Vercel. And what you can see here is I have the deployments that are going, and these are all the changes I've made over time to deploy it. And then I also have a storage container. So I'm not going to put all this stuff in the video because I don't want to have the live information in this video that could potentially cause issues. However, we'll make a whole new video on how to deploy something in Vercel and get it up and running quickly. So I'm using Vercel just because it's easy to deploy, easy to maintain, and it's actually free. So once I deployed the information in Vercel, it's actually connected to GitHub, and the code that came from Vercel was connected to GitHub and sent to GitHub to hold that information. And we'll do more videos on what Git is and how to use Git as well. But what I really want to show in this video is once we download that code back to the computer, what we can do now is we can start to use Claude Code to code on top of the already existing infrastructure. And this is what a lot of people are doing, is they're going to something. You've probably seen these tools such as Lovable, lovable.dev, lovable.dev. I think that's it. Let's see. And then Replit, I think, is another one. Let's go find that. So lovable.dev is great. It is a very powerful tool to get you started. It is not a powerful tool, in my opinion, to build a working software out to completion. It can get you started, it can get going really well for you. I don't know why it's not showing up right now, but maybe my computer, I'm gonna need to buy a bigger computer, to be honest with you. I'm doing so much now with this computer that I need some more horsepower, and I'm hoping that growing this channel will allow me to go buy a new computer here to do more things. But you can go to replit.com and you can start building with AI. You can go to lovable.dev and start building with AI as well. The thing about these things is often they start from scratch. They start with just building a brand new project, and some of them are getting better. I think some of them you can, but we don't really want to do that. We want to be leveraging the shoulders of giants. We want to be leveraging software engineers that have spent a lot of time and energy trying to figure things out for us so that the AI doesn't have to build these basic things anymore. That's why we do this. That's why we go and we find boilerplate templates such as these project files that we can find here that'll get you started. And some of these companies and these developers that have put these templates in here have ones that you can buy, and when you buy them, they're even more farther along and have more features than these free ones that they offer here. And I'm considering buying one and actually trying that out. But what we want to do now is once we've got that code onto my platform, what we can do, and there's a whole setup process for Claude, which I can do a video on, but you just type Claude, and that will open Claude inside of this folder where we are, and you see this nice little thing, like little icon here, and it says welcome Patrick, and ultimately we just start coding and we start to use Claude to code. There's a bunch of commands here that you can do. If you type slash, you start to see the agents, you can compact the context profiles, you can do a lot of different things. I'm just going to exit right now because I have another one here. So this is the actual one that I've been coding with, this particular window, and I've been coding with this for a while now. And what we are going to do is we're going to start to think about what is another feature that we want to add. And I need to think about that real quick. So I'm going to go back to Make Money. And so yesterday I had it build this really nice looking page, which was a white paper on why makemoneyfromcoding.com is valuable. And I think it's valuable because we're not just building a platform for you to sell stuff. I want to build a community. I want to build training classes. I want to build maybe even an accelerator to help you go through this. And that's what this page really helped me create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, and I don't know how this is going to work, but what we're going to do is we're going to start to think about this. So I want to build essentially like a blog feature, and this is like already a nice looking blog. So anytime you're coding with AI, you want to give it as much context as you can around what it already has and examples, so that you can have it do things faster for you and it doesn't have to think so much. Like, so many people are trying to get AI to think for them. I want you to think, okay, AI is the doer of the things that I want done. It's not necessarily the thinker for me. Of course, it does help you think because it can brainstorm for you and it knows things sometimes that you don't know about how to build stuff with code. But you really want to think like, how do I build this and what is it that I'm building and how should it be built? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say here, so I'm building, so I say I really like the look and feel of the white paper page that you have built. I want to create a new blog feature that is admin only. So I don't want everyone to have a blog yet. I just want to build a system level admin that I can kind of use to get traffic to this site. And I'm going to do this very simply right now. I'm going to say I want to build a new blog feature that is admin only and allows you to upload a markdown file, and it would generate a new page that looks and feels like the white paper page. Make this have a table where we can see the blog posts that are live. Allow me to edit the author separately from the edit the author separately from the markdown. Auto generate the slug, but allow me to change the slug before I post, and then once we post, it would end up in a new public page for blogs where people can view the new blogs. Make sure to use Open Graph so I can set the images that get shared with the links, the title of the blog. By the way, that should be a separate field when you are creating a new blog, and then also have an edit blog page by clicking on the table item to get back and edit everything after a post has been created. Now that's my idea that I'm trying to get to it and get really clear on what it has. I'm giving it context of like use the white paper page that you've already built to kind of like go from that. I'm gonna even be more clear on that white paper that you've already built. Make the look and feel of all new blog posts pages the same as the white paper, and use your expert wisdom as a veteran software engineer to build this as a world-class blogging platform. Cool. So basically we're creating a blogging platform here, and right now I really like the look and feel of this page. It's really beautiful, but to create this like manually would be kind of difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to have it create a way for me to upload a markdown file, which is just a very kind of like wiki style syntax, and then it's going to create these new pages for us. And I think that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to start to build. Now, while it builds for me, so it's thinking. Now, what you need to realize is this Make Money from Coding is living on the internet on a server somewhere. I believe the server is actually in Northern Virginia, where it's currently being hosted in a data center. But if I'm going to develop this new feature, I'm not going to push it directly to the data center. I need to actually be able to test and run locally these changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this other window I have up here. While I wait for this, I'm going to show you what happens is I'm going to run a command called npm, or it's actually pnpm dev. And when I run that, it's going to bring up this little development server that I can use. And I'm just going to check on the stream and make sure I'm still streaming. Yep, I'm good. And when I do that, it's going to use this local host, which local host means my computer. That means this computer that's actually running, and I'm running on this is my laptop. This is the computer that's running this. And what we're waiting for is for it to show the home page. And when you're just building from scratch, this technology seems to take a little bit of time, so let's see what happens. All right, compiled. And now you can see localhost 3000. So localhost is like the house. Like you can think of it like a house, or no, like a neighborhood. You can say like localhost like the neighborhood, and then 3000 is like the house in the neighborhood. And that is like, okay, I have this computer that's running a bunch of software, and then I want to go to this port, which is like the mailbox for that neighborhood to deliver the stuff. And that's what this is doing. So this same code that's running on the internet at makemoneyfromcoding.com, I'm now seeing locally on my computer. And now as this finishes, so it's doing a bunch of stuff right now, so we're just going to wait for it to do a bunch of stuff. And you can see it actually going through, it's coding, it's taking tokens, it's doing a bunch of stuff. While it's doing this, I can kind of give you a context. So if you sign up for the Claude $20 a month plan, it does a really good job, and you get a lot of stuff going. I've actually built a lot of software on the $20 a month plan. The problem is every so often you run out of tokens, and you can see these tokens get consumed. So it gives you, on that plan, you get a certain amount of tokens per hour, and you get like an hour window, and you actually get a week window. So the reason being is there is servers somewhere that are having GPUs that are doing all this computation. And I'll do more videos on that too, because actually that's like, while this is amazing, there's like this problem in the world where we're building all these data centers that are consuming power and all that kind of stuff. We have to think about that. But another reason why I'm doing this and teaching you this too is we don't want to be building software that the AI is doing everything for us. So we're just going to build a bunch of server farms and need all these tokens, and it's going to maybe cost you a bunch of money. we're building software right now that you can use that doesn't require AI, right? Like we're using the AI to build software and go into a normal, like more CPU farm or data center. And that, I believe, when you do AI augmented code and things like that, where you can use AI to help your normal SaaS type products and services, it's a really powerful thing to be able to use AI to build this, but not necessarily rely on the AI to run your services, because you don't want to be relying on these AI engines all the time for every single feature. That's not what we want to be doing here, and it's partly what I'll be teaching. And I'm starting to kind of get my feet wet talking about that here. But you can see, okay, well, it's creating all this stuff, and this is a pretty complex feature. And actually, what I want to do is put plan mode on. I should have done this at the very beginning, actually, when I did that, because when you do complex features, you want to be able to have it think before it actually creates. And plan mode allows you to take this prompt that I generated here, the one that I wrote somewhere above here, and when I do that, so you can see, like, I went back, like, this is a lot of code. Like, this is stuff that I've been doing for days that's still here. And when you do this plan mode, it allows you to like think beforehand. So it's asking me, do I want to create this page? And I'm going to say, you are allowed to do all these edits for this particular session, so I don't have to like continually check on it every time. Now, I do like to actually watch what it's doing, because that's the other thing that we're getting into trouble with as people start to build software with AI, is they have no idea what the software created. And I actually resisted building based on Vercel, and I'll talk about why in a new video, because it's built on Node and a bunch of technology that I don't actually know that well. However, it's very powerful and easy to deploy, so I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. So that's the part of the reason why I didn't build on this originally, and I have other software that I built on Python, which I know really, really well. But because I've started to build on this, I've started to watch what it's doing, and I start to get an awareness around the language and how it's working, and I start to understand what it's creating, and that's important. Now, do I know this? The crazy thing is, I've been building this for 2 weeks, and I still don't know very in depth about the low-lying software that's running my whole platform and my whole website here. And I think that that's something that a lot of people are going to run into. They don't know what they're creating, and then when things go wrong, they don't necessarily know how to fix it. Luckily, I am a developer, and that's also why we're building Make Money from Coding, is that we are building a community where we can help each other. And that's another thing, is we need other software engineers, we need other developers to be working with us so that we know who we can go to when things go wrong and we don't know how to fix stuff. So you can see it's actually building a marketing header, it's building some complex features, it's building a blog, building a page, like a template for the blog, and it's just continuing to go. And that's the cool thing about Claude Code, is it knows how to build complex features. It really, really does. And Docker. So I haven't talked about Docker yet, but I got to make sure it's got Docker running. So Docker is running the backend database when it's local, but then the database moves to Vercel when it's online. And the database is another thing that a lot of people get stuck with when they are trying to build software, is they don't know how to do the backend. And the backend is the hard part, in my opinion. The front end is getting easier. Like, you can use Replit or Lovable or Bolt.new to build a front end software really quickly now. But the back end is the part that's getting harder and harder. So, or it's not hard in my opinion, but it's complex. And if you are a new, what's called vibe coder, or you are someone that has never done software technology, or maybe you are a seasoned person, but you've never really done this level. Like databases are another level of coding that not everybody knows when they're building software. And it's a critically important step when you're starting to build SaaS products and how this is all built out. So we're still waiting for this to be created, but let me give you context around this. Like, this is a fairly complex feature. It's new code that I'm building on top of my platform here. And the crazy part is, like, this particular feature that's building for me right now, this could have taken weeks, maybe months to create if it wasn't for AI. And if this was 6 months or more ago, I guess there were AI tools, but it wasn't widespread yet. Like, this is really like very, very new material that's out there. And you would have had to do back and forth with development team if you're not technical. Like, there's a lot of stuff you would have had to do that this coding tools are doing for you now, and it's really crazy. So I'm just going to check on the stream, make sure we're still going. But we're just waiting. Like, I would have had to do all this work. So what it's doing right now is it's running a migration and it's testing the feature that it's creating. And you'll see over here, so this is another window. So I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to move these out so you can get a little bit more awareness here. So this is running Docker, and while let's talk about Docker while we wait for this to create. So when you run these software and testing on your local machine, you want to install what's called Docker Desktop. And Docker Desktop takes images of like database, which is Postgres for me, and then it creates a container, which is a running image. And I have my database running, so you can see here. And I have Getia, which is one of the features that we need to run the delivery of the software, and I have Postgres. So these two Docker containers are the backend, the part of the backend for MakeMoneyFromCoding.com. So we're still waiting here, and I'm going to pause the live stream while we wait for this, and we'll come back in a second. Let me see if I can pause. I guess I can't pause the live stream. I gotta figure that out. So we're just gonna wait, and we're gonna wait for it to be done, so you guys can move farther ahead in the video. So it's continuing to build, and remember, like, I'm becoming the doer, I'm having AI become the doer. I'm thinking, right? We had the prompt where I decided that I would create that feature, and then AI becomes the doer, and it's building and it's testing and it's doing all this stuff on the back end, and then I come back as the QA and test engineer. And I'm a little concerned about what it's doing right now. So let's see, send message to Claude. Well, yep, it's still working, still testing. Remember, this is a complex feature that I'm trying to add here. So we're gonna wait for it. It says it needs to fix the TypeScript issues. Like, this is crazy, honestly. Like, it is so smart. it like, some of these things that it does, like, that's the thing, is like, I'm becoming a better developer as well, because I'm watching and I'm being aware of what it's creating. And while, again, like, I was never a Node.js developer, but I can watch what it's doing and I can be aware and I can see the code. So let's actually open Visual Studio. So Visual Studio is an IDE, and it's a coding environment where you can see the code. So let me open this while we still wait for that. And Visual Studio is a program that I would highly recommend you download. And this is the code base, right? Like, this is the code base of what it's creating here. And it's making changes to these files in the back end. Now, the question is, how do you know what files it's changing? Because obviously, like, you just click on any of these files, you can't see, oh my gosh, that's what was just changed. Well, you need to understand a tool called Git. And Git is an incredibly powerful tool that I highly recommend everyone use. And it's something that I use every day, and it's the most powerful tool that I know. And honestly, like, it changed my entire life when I learned it. So if I type Git GUI, so Git is a small program that runs on your computer, and it kind of keeps track of the project files that we're doing. And then if you see here, these are all the new files that are being created. If it has a blue thing right here, it means that this file was already part of this project. And you can see like, okay, these green things show this was added as a new feature on top of the software. And then these ones that don't have that blue, these are completely new files. So this is AI that has built all these new files for me, and it's running these new files. These are what's called migrations. So the database needs new tables to hold the new blog posts. And then it needs these other files, which are functions to get the blog posts. So these do the queries. And then it needs a schema to know what's inside of the blog post. So this is interesting. And this is all the code that is going to be created to run the blog, which is really, really cool. And we're still going. We're still running. We're still waiting for it to finish. It's testing, it's doing a bunch of stuff, it's running in the background, different things, and we're waiting for it to finish. And once it finishes, now our job comes back and we evaluate what it's built and we see if there's any errors. And there is the option in the future, in my opinion, to actually turn another AI agent and test the features that it's creating. It's already doing some of that right now, quite honestly, but we could actually create an AI agent to test it. But I tell people, like, you are the first agent. You are the one that you want to know how it's working. And the same issue as the client can't handle async parameters. So sometimes they'll ask you, like, can I do this? And it needs more input. It says I still have the same issue. The issue is the client's components can't handle async parameters. I need to work with the client component. Let me check how to fix this properly in the dashboard page, which is a client component. So we're going to let it do this grep and find this piece. And it's trying to find more information that it needs to fix what is wrong here. So we're just going to keep waiting. And it's created the thing, but it's trying to test it, which is another reason why it's pretty smart. Yes, as a client component in Next.js, params need to be promise for all pages, even client pages, but we can't use await parameters in client components. So it's saying the client component is what's on probably more in the browser and not on the server. And the solution is to use from React. So it's found something that was wrong here, and it says, okay, I have this problem, and see this minus sign means, okay, this is the code that's being changed, this is being removed, and this is the line that's being added. It's not actually removing the entire line, it's just adding this use parameter right here. And we're still waiting for it to finish and still testing. You can see that, like, this is not non-trivial. It's taking a while for it to think about it, figure it out, but it's really cool that it can do all this stuff, and we're going to see what it actually creates in the long run and see if I can, like, how good this blog feature is when it comes back. So while I wait for that to come back, let's go back into Git for a little bit. So Git GUI is this tool that shows you what's being changed and what is actually going on. And while you see this, so this is what's called unstaged changes up here. These unstaged changes are what has just changed. This means Git is not actually tracking these changes yet. These are new changes that either myself as the developer or the AI has made changes to. When I move these changes into this, if I click these buttons here, I'm moving these changes into what's called a staged section. These are the changes that are going to go into what's called a commit, and a commit becomes a point in history. This means once I've put them in the stage changes, I can't really lose them. However, I haven't really created a history point. And now you see, okay, well, it just made another change here, this PNP lock, and we can actually watch what the code is doing in real time and seeing if it makes more changes here. So let's go back here. So it's still thinking, and as changes come through, let's see if I rescan, it's still thinking, still thinking. Oop, it's going to sleep 90 seconds. So it's going to sleep 90 seconds and then wait. So we're waiting for a period of time here. And it's running a migration on the database. I mean, this was a fairly complex thing I did. This was not a simple change. Maybe I should have started with a simpler change for this particular video. But it's going to be pretty cool to see what it creates on the back end of this and see how it does. So we're still waiting. So now I can click on that. That'll end up here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, okay, I'm going to say in progress because it's not totally done yet. In progress, building a admin system blog feature. So what we've done here is now we're going to create a message that is a summary of all these changes that are happening over here. I'm going to hit commit, and now that becomes a point in history. So we're still waiting for that to come back. So let's show you what was actually happened while we're waiting. So we say git k -- all, and now you see, okay, this label, this thing I typed in that box here, is all the changes that have been happening to the code. And it's a point in history. And these are the history points that I've created over the life cycle of this project. The crazy thing is, look at this date, 10/16. Today is November 1st, 2025. So this project is just a little over 2 weeks old. And that's how fast you can create things now, is you can create things so much faster with AI. So this origin main, this is what's on the live Vercel server, and then this is what changes we're making. So if it says origin main, that's somewhere else. That's on a Git repository, and that Git repository is actually at GitHub. And then this one that doesn't have that origin main is on my local machine. So we're still waiting, and we're gonna hope that it finishes at some point in the future so we can end this video. But it's pretty cool to see, like, I mean, this is the crazy thing, is this was never possible like just a few months ago. And Claude Code from Anthropic is a really, really incredible tool. Maybe it'd be good for me to show you some other features while we wait for this. It did that sleep, so I'm guessing it's like thinking. So you can open Claude in another window too. Like, you can be doing two things. Now, I wouldn't recommend you open Claude in the same project at the same time. There are ways to do that, but it's not necessarily recommended. But I am actually in the same project folder, so we're not going to actually make this particular one, this window we have here doing changes. I'm just going to show you what you can see. So there's something called agent mode. So these are other agents that I've created. So I have these user agents that we can use when we're actually developing stuff. I have an architecture planner, a QA guardian. These agents are things that help me develop software quickly too. And they know more. They're like giving system prompts with the coding. So like an architecture planner. Let's view this agent. Use this agent when you create a new project, a major feature restructuring. User agents beginning a new web. This is when I begin a new web application, which is really, really helpful. And it has all these like instructions on how it should do things and how it should plan, and this helps the code really understand what to do. So we're just going to exit out of this for now, and then we say exit, and you can see, okay, it found more errors. Like, apparently it found errors during its process, and it's still trying to fix stuff. So it's changing this from params.slug to this slug. So it found that it must change that. Now, let's look at what's actually happening. So we go back here, we can see, okay, these are new changes. These are changes it just made. So you notice that, okay, it said right here, it changed from this params.slug to this new syntax, which is these angle brackets slug. And it made that change here, and it then came back. And it's making the change. So I'm going to end this video here, and then we're going to come back on the next video once this is done, and we're going to show you what it's actually created. So thank you guys for watching, and once this is done, we'll do another video to show, okay, after it's been doing this work for a while, what actually is the result and how do we move forward from that. But thank you guys for watching this video.